Joining me now from McAllen, Texas, Vice President and spokesman for the National Border Patrol Council, Chris Cabrera. Chris, this should be a nonpartisan issue, but let's face it, it's become a partisan issue for some reason. Apparently, it falls into the Democrat agenda somehow to keep an open border and keep the chaos going at the border. They call it a manufactured crisis. And to that end, I would agree, manufactured by judges in many cases that are tying your hands at the Border Patrol and then giving a green light to illegal immigrants to violate our sovereignty. They also claim, the Democrats do, that we're not seeing record numbers down at the border. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't agree with it at all. For anybody to call it a manufactured crisis is like an ostrich with their head in the sand. Just last week, we had a woman and 3 children found dead in the brush of dehydration. All 3 kids were under 3 years old. For that not to even make this rise to the level of a crisis, I don't know what they're thinking. And as long as we have these loopholes open, more and more people are going to risk their lives, risk everything they have to get here. So if you have any humanity at all in your body, you would stop this catch and release so people didn't put their lives at risk just to get here.
What's the latest going on down there at McAllen, Chris, in terms of the numbers? Are you seeing any kind of ebb at all, or is it pretty much a steady flow?
It's a little ebb and flow recently, I guess, with Mexico doing what they're doing on their southern border. But yeah, we've seen this before. They get tough for a week or two, and then it just kind of goes away. Our numbers are still high. They're the highest they've been since I've been in the Border Patrol, which is going on 18 years now. So for people to say that the numbers aren't high, I don't know what they're looking at or where they're looking at it, but I'd invite them to come down and I'd show them around myself, and they can see what we see.
Mainstream media right now is making a big deal out of a picture that's been released, and it's a tragic picture, and really no one wants to see it. It's a horrible one to see, of the dad and the daughter face down in the water, drowning in the Rio Grande. It is a tragedy. But Chris, as a parent, I look at this picture, turns my stomach, and I say to myself, what kind of a parent, what kind of a father would subject their 2-year-old to such a situation? It's beyond my imagination. I believe that what's being committed here with these children being dragged across our border and through 1,500 miles of Mexico is tantamount to child abuse.
I agree, and I don't understand why CPS doesn't step in and start doing what they need to do to prevent this. I mean, everybody needs to get involved, and everyone up in D.C. that's sitting on their hands playing politics instead of tackling this issue. These deaths are on them. This is on their hands, not anyone else's. Speaking
of Washington, D.C., the Border Patrol, the high-ups at the Border Patrol testifying with regularity before Congress. And what's underreported is what Brian Hastings told Congress today. Roll tape.
So far this fiscal year, Border Patrol agents have rescued more than 3,400 people in distress along the border and saved nearly 2,500 people crammed into tractor trailers.
There you go. This is something that you folks do every day. You are rescuing people every day from what could be a fatal fate.
Yeah, every day. And I think the other thing that doesn't make it out there is our agents are so tied up with this catch and release that at least double the number are folks that are coming in and getting away from us, because we don't have the manpower out there to stop that. So there's huge numbers getting away and sneaking into the country, along with drugs and whatever else they may bring. And we're busy. I guess the priorities are out of whack up there in D.C.
Here's the real tragedy in terms of being an American, and that is these sanctuaries, sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, whether it's California or in this case, Washington State. ICE is trying to open up the eyes of people in California and Oregon and Washington State and other sanctuary cities and states by telling people, hey, you are protecting murderers, you're protecting rapists, you're making our job harder, and the job of ICE is very simple, and that's to track down these murderers and these rapists and deport them. Yet, here we have these entities, Chris, that are providing cover for these murderers and rapists.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't understand where we've gotten to the point where we can decide which laws apply to us and which laws don't. That makes absolutely no sense to me. And if Congress has a problem with certain laws and they don't like them, well, they alone have the ability to change that. And I think it's time they got to work and did something, or move on aside and let somebody else in there who's willing to get the job done.
Your compadre, Art Del Cueto, came on this program a 3 weeks ago. He said, hey, the bottom line is, he hates to admit it, but the border and the situation from time to time is out of control. And there's only one entity in the United States that can put it back into control and put it back into a lawful order position, and that is the United States Congress, and they need to do their job. Chris, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.